Good afternoon, everyone. Is that it? Good afternoon. Let's start again now. I know this is the graveyard slot where everybody has had a bit of lunch, you know, kind of getting to the end of the day, but shall we try it again? Good afternoon, everyone. Perfect, perfect. Whoops, I've just dropped a cheque on the floor. So massive cheque, because I want to be losing too many of these. It's for all of £5. So it's my pleasure today to share a little bit about how we plan a new distributor and how we get that new distributor started. And I guess really this section pulls together everything that's been before me throughout the day. But before I talk about the planning system and how we develop managers, maybe I would tell you a little bit about my background, for those of you that don't know. And thank you, Gary, for that very warm introduction. Before Forever Living, I was a farmer. I wasn't any old farmer, I was a good farmer. I used to breed horses, train horses, and work with lots and lots of sheep. And I was at that crossroads in my life where I was looking for something else to do. You know, after 20 years in my career, I thought there had to be something different. I couldn't face another lambing period. I couldn't face another shearing run. I couldn't face another horse to break. I just got to the end of my tether with it all, really. And good fortune came my way when a friend of mine gave me a call and started talking about a wacky cactus called aloe, which I'd never heard of. And he started talking about a business model, which even though I didn't understand, made sense. You see, I guess when you come from a farming background, there is a saying that if you want to have a higher yield or produce more stock, then you just need to increase the flock. And network marketing is a bit like that, isn't it? If you want to achieve the bigger incentives and the bigger checks, build the bigger businesses, then you just need to increase your flock. And I kind of guess that's what I've been doing, really, for 18 years. We've now built a business here in the UK, which is the #1 business. Very proud of all of the team, very proud of you all. But our team now spans 51 countries around the world. And, you know, to know that you've made a difference to people in countries where maybe they're living off $1 a day, to know you've made a difference every day helping people enjoy better health, and to know that you've made a difference every day helping people build their own businesses, which gives them the freedom and allows them to live the dream life that they are prepared to work for. It's a little saying there that they're prepared to work for. When I joined Forever Living, I wasn't familiar with our industry, but I was very excited to get stuck in. And one of the very, very first things I kind of ascertained very quickly was that you need to be able to plan a business. You know, just because you register with Forever, just because you fill in that application form, just because you have that box, does not give you a right to the income. And an awful lot of people, I can see it in their eyes. Well, I've registered now with Forever. Show me the money. Well, here's the thing. There's a very rude 4-letter word. I don't mean to swear, but this 4-letter word, I think every one of you need to write down. You ready? It's called work. Success only comes before the word work in the dictionary. In no other walk of life does success come before you put the time and effort in to building a business. So when I embarked on my Forever journey, I had to learn some new skills, had to take on board some new ideas. Many of those ideas challenged my thinking, I can tell you, because like so many people, I was pretty much stuck in the conventional thought process of work 40 hours, get paid 40 hours. Or they're very often in the farming world, work 100 hours, get paid 40 hours. So I had to embrace the need to learn new ideas, new skills, and put them into practice. And how do we best put into practice everything that we've learnt? We put into practice everything we learn by helping others. It's all very well doing it for yourself, but can you impact on other people? Can you recruit somebody and take them by the hand and with confidence say, I will show you what to do? And the word there is show you what to do. In our industry, if you want to be successful, show is better than tell. And being a very visual person myself, I only have to see something 2 or 3 times and I've got it. And I can run with it. And I can practice it until I become competent at it. So why do we need to learn to plan? Well, one of the reasons that we need to plan is very simple. If you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. And you know what really surprises me and upsets me, I guess, is that most people I speak to put more energy, more passion, more commitment, more focus, more research into planning their 2-week annual holiday than they do planning their life. How many of us have been truly guilty of doing that? I bet if I did a survey of the average person on the street and asked them 2 simple questions, where are you planning to be on your holiday this year? Or where do you plan to be in 5 years' time in your life? They could answer the first, but they've given no thought to the second. One of the things I suggest in Forever is that we, all of us, learn how to plan. And it's one of the things that I guess I've taught myself over the years is learn how to plan. Plan a new distributor to get through to manager. Plan a product launch. Plan a phone session. Plan a one-on-one. Plan a diamond manager business. It doesn't happen by accident. So why do we need to plan? Well, I would suggest one of the reasons that we need to plan is because it helps us develop good habits. Good habits. Don't leave your business to chance. Don't just assume because you're doing a lot, it's going to happen. There needs to be an infrastructure, as there does in anything. Anything that you do, there needs to be an infrastructure and a plan put in place. Whether you're an Olympic athlete right now, training for your event at the Olympics this year, can you imagine if they'd suddenly had a goal 10 years ago of being involved in the Olympics, but they had no plan? They had no idea what their training program would be or how dedicated they would need to be. Do you think that they would actually get qualified to participate in the Olympics? Probably not. So why you need a plan is it will develop those good habits. Good habits in your consistency of daily activity. It also creates a focus. You know, Bob said earlier the Alice in Wonderland story, when someone said, where do you want to go? And she said, I don't know. You know, focus is about having clarity in where you want to go on your journey. In other words, if you want to be a manager, if that's important to you, when? If you want to make £2,000 a month and that's important to you, when? If you want to build a business that will allow you to leave your job, when? This is the kind of focus, the clarity that we have to have as we embark on our forever business. Because nothing happens by accident. And we need to plan to identify goals. And Diana and her team did a great job on goal setting this morning. But goals are really the fuel underneath all of our businesses. When I first joined Forever Living, I didn't go to work to achieve everything on the marketing plan. I went to work to achieve my goals. My goals were very simple. I wanted to educate my 2 little boys privately, and I wanted to earn more in a month than my ex-husband earned in a year. And I achieved both. So goals are very important, and having that emotional connection to goals is the thing that's going to keep you going when people laugh at you, when people ridicule you, when people say you're doing what? when people talk about you behind your backs, when people won't support you, when people pass their opinions on what you're doing. Unless you have a crystal clear goal with focus, other people will steal your dreams. And how sad for you to have joined forever, full of hope, full of excitement, full of passion, only to not have a plan and to not know why you need a plan. And the fourth, fifth person you speak to gives you their opinion, and it moves you enough to think they're right and you're wrong. It's your goals that will keep you on track, and the plan of daily activity that will guarantee you'll achieve them. And that brings me down to activity. Why do we need to plan? Because we need to know what to do every single day. One of the things that I'm very big on, that I focus on a lot, is what we call IPAs. And it's not a type of beer, gentlemen. It is income-producing activity. When John and I first joined this business, we were very, very committed to the activity. And you know, when we first joined 18 years ago, we didn't have events like this. We didn't have trainings and books, and we didn't have any of it. So we didn't even know how much activity we should be doing. So we kind of picked a number, and that number was, we speak to 5 people every single day for ourselves. 5 people every single day. That was our activity. We knew that if we missed a day, that the only person we cheated was who? Ourselves. And I remember quite clearly one night, we'd come home from a local business presentation, and bearing in mind, just in case you think it was easy for us in the early days, I was doing this around 4 kids, a full-time job, 500 sheep and 12 horses. So excuses don't work with me. But we got home at about midnight, and we just had a quick look at our stats for the day, and we realized we hadn't spoken to 5 people, we'd only spoken to 4. Now it's midnight. What would you have done? I know what you would have done. You would have went, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. But we didn't. We got in the car, and we drove down to an all-night petrol station. It was really, really interesting, because we drove down to this all-night petrol station. There was some dubious-looking guy standing behind the grill where you went to pay, and there was no way he was going to be interested in the business. But I remember John going up to him and sort of looking down through the little keyhole and saying, we've got a great business opportunity if you'd like to have a look at it. And he gave him this business card. Of course, we never heard from that person. But what had we done? We had fulfilled our activity quota for the day that was going to give us the goals and dreams that were important to us. But that could only come about if we had a plan, and our plan told us what we needed to do every single day to make our goals a reality. Am I making sense? So planning is absolutely vital. Another reason you need to plan is because it helps you volume map. Now, if you're brand new in the room today, that probably won't mean much to you, but write it down, circle it, and ask your sponsor what volume mapping means. But I remember our volume mapping, it was amazing. We had a big whiteboard in our kitchen, and the circles were all over the whiteboard. And what it meant that we could do is we could monitor everybody's activity in the team, and at the end of the month, when we were looking to make positions, we could look at the bottom and work the volume up to us to make sure we didn't miss an achievement. But let me tell you how I learned the hard way to volume map. I want you all to write these figures down. 8, 22, 59, 98 and a half, and 160. Has anybody got it? We missed the car plan. In our first month we did 8, then we did 22, then we did 59, In our 4th month, we did 98.5. No one told us. We didn't have it in our plan because we didn't know, and we missed the car plan. Could you imagine how that felt? And I tell you something, never have we missed anything else since that moment in time in forever, because we always have a plan. It was a costly 1.5 case credits. But we learnt from our mistakes, vowing never to let that happen again. But I think now the reason that we need to plan probably more fundamentally ever than before is because with all the new enhancements on the Forever marketing plan that were implemented at the beginning of this year, I hope that all of you have now picked up on the fact that even though it's always been a manager developing business, now more so than ever, we need to develop more managers. So having a plan allows you to work closely with the people that you recruit to plan and manage your business and execute. It's plan the manager business and execute. And that's not just for you and your needs, but more so than ever in this economic climate, people need to be at the position of manager, and they need to be there quickly. And I guess finally, the reason we need to plan is because it gives us tracks to run on. It gives us tracks to run on. It gives us guidelines. That's why we need to make a plan. So when do we plan? When do we plan in this business? Well, if you're working with a brand new distributor, ideally within the first 3 days of them registering with you. Ideally. Now, I know that sometimes distance can be a bit of a problem, but we have things called Skype. We have webinars. I do Skype plannings and Skype trainings all around the world. So it really doesn't matter where somebody lives anymore. We can have a meeting online with them, if not in person, within 3 days of them joining the team. We need to plan every 7 days of activity with new people. You see, for most people joining our industry, they're not familiar with our process. So if you allow the process to be 1 plan per month, probably they will lose their way a bit in the first 30 days. So a 7-day plan, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely vital. And that doesn't mean to say you've got to meet everybody every 7 days, but what it does mean to say is that the plan that you've put in place, you need to review every 7 days. You just need to review it, make sure that most of it has been achieved, and if it has been achieved, review the plan and plan the next 7 days. We also need to have a plan just at the end of every month, just before the end of every month. We need to have a planning session just before the end of every month. This allows us to draw together and volume map all of the case credits and activity that has been generated from you and your existing team. Then, rather than by chance miss the car plan as we did, this will allow you to say you're only 4 case credits off supervisor. You're only 10 case credits off manager. We will not miss it. We've got 2 or 3 days to make that happen. And you're all happy at the end of the month. Rather than the month end comes and goes, and you have a planning meeting, say, halfway through the first week of the month, and you missed an incentive the month before. So how do we plan? Well, this is where the new Teach2Reach comes in. And I think for most of you, you've now realized that the company have done an awful lot of developing new tools for us recently. We've got the new DVD, which has just been launched today, which I think you'll agree with me is amazing. Wouldn't you agree? I think we should give head office staff another round of applause for developing that. For some of you, you will have already been to see the pre-launch of the new business presentation. And I think, once again, the PC committee, you should give them all a big round of applause as well for doing that. So I guess to go hand in hand with all these new tools that are coming our way, we need a new Teach2Reach planning brochure. And so as of I think it's in about a week's time, you will be able to order the brand new, updated, revised version of the Teach2Reach that will be in tune with the new BP, and everything that you want to do in your business has been very simply set out in this manual to help you achieve your goals even quicker. So, what is the Teach2Reach? Well, the first thing is, I want to tell you it's something not to be scared of. I know an awful lot of people panic when they pick up this brochure, and their immediate reaction is, I don't think I can do it. I'm not familiar with it, I can't do it. So therefore, I won't plan, I'll just see what happens. Or people don't take the time to learn how to do this, and therefore their business kind of limps along rather than goes into momentum. And for any business, what you want it to do is to go into momentum. It's very important you understand that. And you can only go into momentum if you're doing the necessary activity and you have a plan to follow. It also helps you duplicate your business. If you want to build a lifestyle for yourself, you've got to develop and duplicate tens, hundreds, thousands, and hundreds of thousands of distributors all around the globe. And you can only do that by passing on a strong, consistent message. And you know, I didn't get all this on day one. And it was only by the things I didn't achieve that irritated me, that made me review what I was doing in my planning to put me on track for achieving. This manual is not written in tablets of stone. You do not have to follow it word for word, line for line, example for example. It is a guide. Put your own personality to it. Put your own creativity to it. But remember, it is designed to help you get a new distributor from distributor through to manager as quickly as possible. And also be flexible, because every person you sit down with to go through the planning manual is different. Sometimes when I sit down with a brand new distributor, they have so many questions that we never really get past the marketing plan. Sometimes when I sit down with a new distributor, they really struggle with identifying their goals because they've never done that before. And sometimes when you sit down with somebody, they're so quiet you could do the whole thing in 10 minutes. The point I'm making is be flexible, because you've got to give people time to get into forever. You've got to let them get into forever. It's a totally different culture to possibly what they've been used to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some of the pages in here. I'm not going to go through it in a huge amount of detail because unfortunately I haven't got time to today. But one of the first parts of the planning system which is really important is page 3. And page 3 is what we call your why, the goal setting. This is one of the most important parts of the planning session that you will ever do. And I strongly recommend to all of you that you take your time nurturing and encouraging people to open up so they tell you what it is they really are prepared to work for. Not what you want to hear, what they're prepared to work for. And basically, I do my goal setting. This is the first start of the goal setting process. What Diana talked about was a little bit more developed, a little bit more down the line. You know, normally in the first 30 days, it is as basic as doing your goal setting in the planning manual. But as you've been in the business 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you will develop your dream books, your dream sheets, and you will understand the need for that big, dynamic goal that's going to push you way out of your comfort zone. But in that first 30 days, it's probably a little more gentle than that. What I like to do is I like to talk about two things: the need goal, the goal I need, and the want goal, the bigger goal that I'm prepared to work for. Because needs and wants are two very different things. And one of the things I've noticed working in this economic climate at the moment is there is more need than ever before for people to make up incomes that they've lost through lack of pay rises, redundancies, lack of the tax credits, all the things that have been taken away from people. Sometimes people just need £500 a month, they need it quickly. So I look at the first 6 to 12 months as being need goals. And basically, I merge the family and personal goal into one, because very often they overlap. And it is a matter of just identifying what that brand new distributor wants. What do they need right now? You know, if someone needs £500 a month and it makes the difference between them staying in their house or losing their house, that is something that is very, very important right now. They may want a brand new Ferrari, but they don't need it. They need £500 right now. So you do need to define very clearly between the need and the fantasy, if you like, the big dream that they're going to get one day, but right now they need this. Because here's what happens. If you just focus on the big want goal, what will happen is they'll say, oh yeah, I want 10,000 a month. And you'll just write the 10,000 a month down, and in 12 months' time they're not making it. They've lost their house because they needed £500 a month, and they're disillusioned with forever. So you need to learn these things. It's part of the planning process. It's part of what puts the business into momentum, because it generates activity very, very quickly when you are working for a need goal in the short term. Then what I do is I talk a little bit about the business goals. And at a first planning meeting, the business goals are quite restricted in many ways because people don't understand global travel, profit share. They don't understand car plan. But they do understand, again, that they potentially need that 500 or that £1,000 a month. And this is where we are being very, very focused on matching their business need, their personal need to the marketing plan. So if somebody has said, I need £1,000 a month and I need it quickly to pay the mortgage or, I don't know, whatever that they need that money for, basically what you're going to do is you're going to talk them through the marketing plan right the way through to manager, giving examples of what that business will look like. Giving examples of the discipline of 4 case credits. Giving examples of how to do the 4 case credits. But very much you're going to show the schematic all the way through to manager to allow them to see what £1,000 a month looks like, or £2,000 a month looks like. And more so than ever now, one of the things that I'm focusing people on is getting through to that manager position. If I go to page 7, please, Paul, the manager position. The way that the new Teach2Reach has been laid out is it shows the schematic of the manager position, and at the bottom it has written in words all of the most common needs that anybody would ever have. And so very clearly, when you've gone through the marketing model from distributor through to manager, you can now link it straight back to their needs and create that emotional connection. It's so powerful. Create the emotional connection. Now can you see how, by working closely with me under the umbrella of Forever, and by focusing on building a manager position, that you can have that £2,000 a month and leave your job. Can't you, James? So bring in the manager position, linking it emotionally to the thing that's important to them, and get them to respond by you telling them that the manager position is going to be the start of them achieving all that's important to them. You don't need to spend a lot of time on this. As Andy said, you don't have to go through all of the percentages and that you get this and you get that. It's just giving someone a visual overview of what a manager business looks like. It's very important that people know that, what it looks like. Then if we go on to the next page, we talk a little bit about royalty. But the page after that is the one that I, again, really like to focus on. And this is the page that will show what we call the power of 5 key people. It's really important that we build a business that has got stability and strength in it. And you can't build what we call a one-legged business because it will fall over. It will not sustain. So what we talk about is the need to find 5 key people as quickly as possible and identify the first 2 people who are going to become managers. Now, what this begins to do is expand people's thinking, and it also empowers them, letting them know that you believe in them. Because they're not going to believe in themselves as much as you believe in them in the first part of that journey. And one of the reasons that we also focus them on this 5 key people looking for their first 2 managers is because this will be yielding an income of 29 to 50, 60,000 a year. But more importantly, or as importantly, it's going to enable them to participate in global travel. Now, you haven't got to explain all of the case credits for global travel. All you've got to say is, would you like to come to Hawaii next year with us? That's all you need to say about global travel. Or the year after, if maybe let's say it's going to be in Australia, I don't know, I'm just thinking. How cool to sit down with someone and say, would you like to go to Australia? 5-star, all expenses paid by the company. How many of you would like to go to Hawaii? Okay, well, you need to put a plan in place. You need your 5 key people. You need to be racing towards senior manager. And how many of you would like to pick up a profit share check? Then you need this infrastructure in place. But here's the thing. I truly believe that if you get your planning right, within the first 5 to 7 months, you should develop a manager. And if you focus on the power of 5, at least 2 managers will follow them through by the end of their first 12 months, minimum. How exciting would it be to plan a business with a brand new distributor, whereby in their first 12 months, they're making the kind of money they need to begin to live the life that is for them, and they've got a profit share structure in place, and they've potentially got global travel in place. Oh, and they've probably done the car plan as well. How many people do you think would get motivated by that? Would you be motivated by that? Right. Well, somebody in the back row is going to be motivated by that. Here's the thing. If you don't inspire your people to believe in them, that you believe they can do it, you're going to have a team of midgets. Your choice. But if you inspire in your brand new people in their first 30, 60 days that you believe in them enough to be on that global rally, to be picking up a profit share check, their business will go into momentum. It's your choice. Think about it. Midgets, giants, which one? Which one? Which one? Cool. Okay. Who said midgets? In order to get the whole process going, we need to understand the power of 4 case credits. So once I've connected my distributor to the emotion of being able to earn the money for their need goal, to be able to put a structure in place, to have travel, profit share, car, all the good things that they've not been used to in a job, then I bring it right back and say, let's look at the basic principles of building a business, and we focus on 4 case credits. And we talk through having a couple of launches, getting out there with their putt boxes, getting out there with their NDP packs. You know, I see people waste huge amounts of time by thinking the only way to have a great start in the business with retailing is a launch. Well, it could be 3 weeks before that new distributor has their first launch. What about them going around and having a coffee with a friend tomorrow and taking a box and selling some product? So create momentum in the way that they take their product out to a potential end user. Remember, they buy your energy. So if you're passionate about it, they'll be passionate about it. And then we go on and we talk about the business cycle. And I love this page because it's the business cycle that gives us all that we desire. How many people in this room right now would like to be making $5,000 a month? Okay? Isn't it interesting? A little bit more energy there. How many of you would like to be making $10,000 a month? Oh, okay. 20? Oh, 30? Now here's what happens. It went, you know why? Because people now stop believing. They don't believe they can do it. It's true, right? You can do it. Write that down. I can do it. Because the system will not let you down. If you look at all of the top leaders here and around the world, they follow the system and they do it daily. When I get to the cycle page, I quite simply reverse the cycle. So I'm sitting with my new distributor, James. I say, James, here we are in the business cycle. We're now doing what we call planning. But if you look at the bottom quadrant, you'll see it says business presentation. That's what you and I went to on Wednesday night. Wasn't it amazing? And did you enjoy meeting Adam? And what did you think about meeting Andy? And Philly and Robert, weren't they a great couple? I want you to connect the feeling back to them. And then I say, and do you remember me giving you a call last week? Do you remember me giving you that call and saying, would you come and have a one-on-one with me? And we met at the coffee shop and had a coffee. I really enjoyed that 30 minutes with you. And you know what? You were on the top of my list when I started my Forever business. Now, the reason I rewind the cycle is I want my new distributor to connect with the fact he's just been through the process and it was okay. Does that make sense? Because if you just show this process to a distributor without connecting them to it, their immediate reaction is, I can't do that. That's what they do. They shut off. It's really bizarre. So if you connect them to the process by reversing it and making them remember every part they were involved in, what's really exciting is they want to do it themselves really, really quickly. Now, I could go into a lot of detail, but I want to just finish on these couple of pages here. And that is to say that the next part of the process is to begin to plan the first month. And what we need to do is we need to have some expectations in place. I never plan a 4cc business. I plan an 8 to 10 case credit business for their first month. I'd rather plan 8 to 10 and do 6 than plan 4 and do 2 or 1 or nothing. So have high expectations. It's really, really important. And all we do here is very simply say to them, this is the start of the process that's going to get you through to the manager position. What we're going to look for in this month is we're going to look to do some retail and some recruiting, bring the case credits together, and get you on your way to supervisor and through to manager. So I'm going to talk them through doing a couple of launches, how and why, and what kind of volume they can expect from it, i.e. case credits. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the first 3 people they're going to recruit in their first month. Now, if we can recruit more, great, but I want to go for at least 3. I don't want to be just going for one person. And one of the things that we've noticed is that on the next page, what we've actually got is 3 little profiling boxes. And these have been really good for putting the business into momentum. Because if you talk about the first 3 people you're going to recruit, but don't do any work on the profiling and a little bit of background about that person, what they'll do is they'll go home, they won't take action because they maybe have some fears, and therefore there's no momentum getting on in the business. Whereas if you're sitting in a planning meeting and you quite simply say, who are the first 3 people you'd like to talk to about forever, and they give you the first 3 names, you can write the first 3 profiles in. Name, background, rough sort of age, married, single, children, where do they live, how do you know them, personality traits, and do you know the hot button? And here's what I do, there and then. I say, let's send them a text right now. Okay? Because if I can get 3 texts sent right there and then, I'm going to create some activity. And all I say in the text is I say, James, I know that you want to speak to Lee, and she sounds like a perfect prospect, but you're telling me she's at work right now. Do you think she's at work? Let's send her a text. And the text is quite simple. It says, hi Lee, call me, have a very exciting business idea for you, James. Now, I've been in planning meetings where we sent 3 texts, and before I finished the planning meeting, we've had 3 responses saying, what time shall I call you? What's that going to create? Momentum. And it's duplicatable and very, very fast. So if you send 3 texts out, you'll get 3 calls back. And I actually proved this in a room of 2,000 people in Romania in January when I was there as guest speaker. And I was doing a training on how to prospect people. And every one of them had to turn on their mobile phones and send 3 text messages to somebody off their list in their phone book that they'd not yet prospected because they were scared to. And it was really funny. I've never heard so many mobile phones going off and text messages coming in my life. It was hysterical. I had a row of people on the stage with me. But it created massive excitement, massive energy. And it's energy, excitement, passion that drives this business. Not knowing every word in detail to say. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start doing it. So basically what we're doing in creating our planning meeting is we're staying in touch. We're staying in touch with our brand new distributor daily. Sometimes a quick email, quick phone call, quick text message. We're staying in touch with them weekly to review and update the 7-day plan. And we're staying in touch with them monthly to make sure it all happens. Imagine how exciting it would be if we're here right at the end of the month right now, if all of you in the room who are brand new, how many of you are brand new in the room today? Wow, welcome to all of you, and I wish you great success on your forever journey. But wouldn't it be exciting if every single person in this room had planned today, when they go home, a 10 case credit month? Imagine if you had 3 guests here, and they've all planned a 10 case credit month. You've got 30 new case credits of volume. As you begin to play around with the figures and the potential, it's so exciting, it still keeps me awake at night. 18 years on, I don't do this because I need the money. Let me assure you of that. I do this because of the inspiration I get by working with people. I'm passionate about helping others. I'm passionate about making a difference. I'm passionate about seeing people become more than they ever dreamt possible. I'm passionate about seeing people pay their mortgage, educate their kids, go on holidays, get their husbands or wives out of work. That means something to me. But in order for me to be able to make that change in other people's lives, I had to learn it first. It's easy for you all now because you have everything in place. All you've got to do is go and learn and apply, get it wrong, get it wrong, get it wrong, get it wrong, and then get it right. That's all you've got to do. Now, I'm actually not going to show my final slides because I know we're running a bit late, but I do want to just finish on the final slide, and my final message to you is discipline and habit are the foundation on which all success is built. Lack of both will inevitably result in failure. Plan your life, live your dreams, but please leave nothing to chance. I wish you all great success in your business. I know that we've got future millionaires sitting in the audience, and I know there are future millionaires that you haven't yet spoken to about forever, and you can make a difference by going to share the opportunity with them. Great success in all you do. Thank you very much.